Welcome back to another EMC Monday Mastermind. Myself, my mom, Eva, Dylan, we run a top producing team out of Westchester County, New York, and Connecticut. We also run the amazing organization Every Move Collective at eXp Realty. We do these masterminds on the second and fourth Monday of every month. It's a space for community, learning from the movers and shakers in our industry, and networking. So we actually really do encourage you to drop in the chat, like where you are, what your market is. You never know who on this call might have a referral for you, so don't be shy. We encourage you to be as conversational as possible. I can already tell that Sean's going to engage the heck out of you guys. So, but don't hesitate to, raise your hand, jump in, ask questions. If you can turn on your cameras, we'd appreciate it. But we're very grateful to have Sean work with us today. Like we were, just talking about, we had the opportunity to meet him not so long ago at an EXP event in Cabo and felt like, a fast relationship being built. And we pretty much immediately asked him to come onto one of these calls just because his energy was so great. We didn't even, I think, have a topic at the time. We were just like, we want you to talk to this community because you're just the right fit. And we asked him what he was really passionate to talk about. And he shared with us that, building business to business relationships to build, scale your business with those kind of vendor referrals was really what he wanted to come here and share. And so I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited to learn about this as I look to grow my business in Los Angeles. This feels like such a no-brainer to start to expand my business in this way. And so a little bit about Sean, and then I'll let him kind of introduce himself. But he's been licensed a while. He was a CEO at Keller Williams in San Carlos. Now he's up in Roseville. He's an EXP agent. I think do you run a team, Sean?
I do. Yep. Sales team. And then I've got an organization of about 250 at EXP as well.
Fantastic. And he's sold a lot of homes in his career, over 2,000. So we should listen and learn from him. And yeah, Sean, let's dive in.
Yeah. Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm really flattered and excited to be with you all this morning. And, the topic that we're going to talk about is really gaining referrals from business to business relationships. And it's something that really changed the scope of my business. I've been selling real estate since 2004. Before getting into real estate, I was in the Navy. I was an intelligence specialist and did that for 6 years. Really got out of the Navy on Friday and started selling real estate on Monday. Closed 35 deals my first year, 35 transactions, and never really looked back. And that ran into the recession where I sold a lot of bank properties. Was closing about 150 homes a year for different asset management companies and banks. And that rolled into, post recession of going back to normal real estate. And I was introduced to this model or topic, if you will, through a coaching program called the Core Coaching. Maybe you're familiar with that, maybe you're not. But basically, what they said is, hey, to solidify your your business, to have consistency and stability, really what that looks like is you need to go out there and build relationships, both with your database, both and with referral partners, and with corporations. And so today we're going to focus on what it would look like for you to identify, put a system in place, and go out and meet both corporate connections and business to business related contacts so that you can flourish and that you can grow in any type of environment, in any type of market. The one thing that nobody can take away from you, regardless if we're in a buyer's market or a neutral market or a seller's market, are your relationships. And so hopefully you guys can see the slide deck now. Can you?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can.
Okay, great. So I'm going to start here. And we just got done with our regional rally here in Northern California. And we had a great turnout. We had about 250 people. They asked me to speak at this. And what they wanted me to talk about was how to succeed in a volatile market. It's kind of when we identify what a volatile market is, we kind of are in one right now, right? I mean, interest rates are fluctuating. Consumer confidence, I'm not sure about where your specific marketplace is. That was while I was asking, but here in Northern California, consumer confidence is very low as far as buyers are concerned. There's talk of recession and now conflict as of this week, and some cities are seeing lack of inventory. Some cities are seeing too much inventory. I know Florida and probably some places in Texas are seeing a lot of inventory, more than we've seen normally, and inventory is growing, and we've had inflation, and a lot of people. I was talking to Colby. A lot of people have relocated, here to Northern California from the Bay Area, and you guys have probably seen a lot of geographic moving. And so, what I'm getting at here is are we in a volatile market? I would say yes. But what it's important to understand is we're always going to be in a volatile market. We're never really at a stable market. If you look at the past 30, 40 years, 4 decades, we're either maneuvering towards a seller's market or maneuvering towards a buyer's market. And so what it's important to understand is how to put these questions that I'm going to ask you to work for you. I should probably do the presentation view so you guys don't see the background there. But here's the questions that you ask yourself in a volatile market. When or will buyers be motivated? And this is what I think you should look at between now and the end of the year. Will inventory continue to grow? Empirically, after July, inventory reduces for the rest of the year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens between now and December. Where will home prices finish? Any signs of unit sales recovering before fall? I'll share with you in May our numbers. We for Tri-County, as far as MLS sales are concerned, we were at 50% of the sales that we would normally see, and that's a big hit for the local market and for real estate agents, and which local markets are changing. So what we talk about here, Colby gave me a nice introduction here. But what the proudest thing the most proudest I am is that, through 20 years of selling real estate now, I've been able to close minimum of 50 transactions a year, regardless of what type of market that we've been in. And that's because of one thing, I believe, and it's the relationships that I've been able to foster. What I'll share with you is this, and this is probably my biggest tip for anybody, especially if you're reinventing your career, or if you're coming out of a slump, or if you're just starting your career, is take something like this, which is what I call an accounts pyramid, and begin to put a draft copy of this together. And if we look at the top here, you see that there's these things called channel accounts. A channel account is either a person or a business or a company that's going to give you 3 to 5 deals minimum a year. Your accounts are what we're really going to focus on today. And your accounts are relationships with CPAs, financial planners, lenders, those types of people in the financial services industry. And your top 50 are going to be your database. These are the top, some of you who are just starting, you may start out with the top 25, but these are the top 50 people in the world that know, like, and love you, that are going to refer you business, that you're going to take to a ball game, take golfing throughout the year. These are the people that you love on and love you. And then everything else falls within the trust barrier. These are people that you meet at open houses. These are online leads. Everything outside of really prospecting and relationship. These people from the trust barrier are what's going to be coming from the marketing efforts that you put out. Maybe somebody who called you from a postcard or a social media ad, something like that. The importance here is this arrow represents 80% of where your business should come from for stability. And so this is what we're really going to dive in and talk about today. Again, I'm going to give you some systems, some tactical actions that you can take to secure these type of accounts and recognize what needs to be done to prospect them. And this whole conversation is really about fishing for big fish, fishing for identifying gatekeepers, and getting out of everyone you're trying to close, you're trying to build a relationship with, that's not within a trust barrier. And I'll share these slides with you guys, and you'll be happy to send them out for everybody so that you can have a copy of this. But Colby, outside of what we talked about today, which was my number one topic. This is really about building a marketing and prospecting company and a series of accounts, right? If I was selling a copy machine, it would be much easier for me to go to one company and sell 8 of them than it would be to knock 8 doors and trying to secure a relationship with each one of those. And that's really what we're focused on, or what we're chatting about today. So there's a difference between quantitative data and qualitative data. One is a gut feeling and one is a scientific feeling. And as far as quantitative data is concerned, just looking at the New York Times, 65% of business comes from referrals across all industries. 92% of those people who are referred immediately trust the party that they've been referred to. People are 4 times more likely to buy when referred with a friend. And we can chat about some of these numbers in the real estate space, but NAR's latest perspective of buyers said that over 86% of buyers and sellers found their real estate agent through referral. And so I think we spend all this time and effort and energy in trying to go for everybody who's outside of the trust barrier, instead of really focusing on building solid long-term relationships with referral partners and or a database. Now, as far as the gut tells me, many of you have probably gotten into this industry and said, okay, well, what do I do now? Where do I go? And people have said, do open houses and cold call and whatever that might look like for you. But nobody really says, hey, what I really need you to do is go out and build relationships with the people that you already know. In fact, for new agents that are coming in, and maybe you have some on the call here, but for new agents that are coming in, I would say, go to those 5 people that you know and ask them, who did your last loan? Who's your current CPA? Who's your current financial planner? And go and say, hey, Colby referred me, and I just want to interview you. And we'll talk about some of the questions that you can have there. But it's a great way to continue, or to start to build this network of people that you might want to get into business with. So what I challenge you to do today is to open up your mind a little bit and say, let's get out of the normal ideas of what has been done in the past as far as how we secured transactions, and let's dive in and really embrace this new or this newer idea of securing business to business relationships. So there's some models that we understand, and one of them that I want you to really before we close today, and please feel free to ask questions along the way, but I want you to understand this appointment bridge and the concept of preparing for an appointment. And so these are some of the models that we're going to talk about today. We're limited on time, so I'm not going to do a brief introduction. I'm just going to dive right in. Here's the appointment bridge. What it says is that before there's 3 sections of an appointment: what happens before, what happens during, and what happens after. And my challenge to you is, whether you're going to a listing appointment, whether you're going to a buyer consult, a referral meeting, a recruiting appointment, or an agent attraction appointment, is that you implement this type of system. And simply put, it says, what are the 8 customer service things that I'm going to do, touches that I'm going to do prior to the appointment, the week before? What is my scripted conversation look like during the appointment? And what are the things that we're doing after for conversion purposes? And simply put, this could be what this looks like. I'm going to move forward here. So we go back here. Sorry. So secure, if we're trying to do these things to secure the appointment, you may, and this is a system for you. You may look them up on Facebook, look them up on LinkedIn. Try and find a triangle for trust. Again, if you can find somebody that you know on social media and leverage that person's name, or call them before you get to the appointment and name drop, you'll be one step ahead. You can mail them some type of a service brochure or information about yourself. You can send them a market update, send them a book or a personalized gift, send them an email, call them, pop by, note card. And if you haven't been able to secure the appointment by then, you can include them in some type of a follow-up campaign for continued nurture. What would that look like? That would look like putting them on a holiday monthly program, put them on a birthday program, a monthly call. You could, you should be friending everybody and posting evidence of successes on your Facebook page. I think a lot of people miss out on Facebook because it's kind of cliche. But if I met you in Cabo and we became Facebook friends, and you started seeing me posting evidence of people coming on my team, what's happening with the market or market updates, open houses that I'm doing, buyers that we're closing, listings that we're selling, positive news, those become free commercials for me to occupy time in your mind. And then ultimately, you can invite these people to mixers. Now, let's say you got the appointment. Okay, this is great because it's not as if, if you identified, which I'm going to ask you to do, if you identified 20 CPAs to go out and meet, it's not as if you're going to be able to secure that appointment immediately, right? You're going to have to prospect them just like you would a, a listing or a buyer appointment. So we've secured the appointment. Now we've got it. Now I'm meeting with Eva. And I go, okay, what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to study her business. I'm going to understand who we know. I'm going to understand her website and her stats and her achievement. And I'm going to get there prepared because that's flattery to her, right? I think we miss out on the opportunity to tee people up or edify them. And if there's one thing that you take away from this conversation, every meeting that you sit down in front of somebody, there should be a portion of edification before the meeting starts. It just makes it so much easier, so much better. The guards are down. So I'm going to edify her after studying her business. I'm going to send her some note cards, just saying, "Hey, looking forward to this appointment." I'm going to send her an email confirmation with a calendar. This is professional, and a call confirmation. You know why we do the call confirmation is because that way she's not inclined to call me the morning of and say, "Hey, something happened. I can't make that appointment." There's a professional courtesy that's established by doing these things. It's why it's called the appointment bridge because there's a start, finish, and we get to walk over the bridge without getting halfway there and somebody pushing us off the side of it, if you will. Send them the agenda. Here's what we're going to discuss today. Send them some type of recording or a link or YouTube video or just a simple organic recording saying, "Hey, I'm really looking forward to seeing you." It's your energy that people pay for. So this is something that you can do prior to the appointment. Pre-listing buyer packets can be dropped off and or mailed, and then bring an all about you form, really understand who they are, and then send the anticipatory text. Again, this is all about conversion. So tell me an agent that you know that implements these things as far as being professional. And when I get to the appointment, then I can simply say, "Hey, did anybody else have the amount of pre pre contact that we had?" And the answer is inevitably going to be no. Um, and then at the appointment, what I see each appointment is it's like unfolding like a movie or like a play. It's scripted as far as how it's going to maneuver. The conversation doesn't need to be scripted, but how am I going to maneuver through that? What are the 5 things that we're going to talk about during this appointment? What's their and understanding their behavioral style? And I'm just going to stop here. And you guys are all familiar with the disc profile, hopefully, right? Am I a driver, influencer? Am I systematic or am I compliant? It's very important that you know who you are, both for coaching purposes and to know what your weaknesses are and what things that you have, what characteristics that you have are positive in the sales world. But what I'm going to share with you is the way that you market and you build your marketing and prospecting company and the way that you handle these meetings and relationships. You need to know, am I really short? Am I a driver and an influencer and I just want to get to the point? Am I too systematic in my approach, which is scaring some of these drivers away? It's important that you know where you are and where your positive attributes are. If you're a driver and an influencer, you're going to be really good at meeting with people face to face and having conversations and going to mixers and socializing. If you're more of an SC, you're going to be really good at the systematic approach of maybe pounding calls out or sending emails out or doing social media campaigns. So identify what that looks like for you. Bring a gift. Another great tip: always bring a gift to any meeting that you have. I suggest bringing a book. If I looked online and I saw that somebody liked golf, I would bring, I'd bring a golf ball. If I saw that they had kids, I brought Lego sets before. If I knew that they were sick the week before, I brought Mucinex and orange juice. So, make this gift something that makes some kind of an emotional connection with them. Bring the printed agenda so that you can go over it so that there's no wasted time. But this is your time to build rapport and really ask questions about their business and most importantly, find a need. Um, we talked a little bit earlier before everybody got on about a book that what book do I suggest reading? And the greatest book that I've read lately, even over the past 5 years, has been question-based selling. And what question-based selling is about is getting to the point where you understand what your consumer, your client, or your referral partner needs. And that's what you're trying to do at this appointment. You're trying to break everything else away and find the need and then ask, what if I could help you with that? Some of these referral partners, what do they need? They need a database. They're just like us. A lot of them don't have, a lot of them are independent contractors and they don't have a great support network. They need a database. They need some referrals for staff. They need sub agents, maybe like a CPA that I met with a couple weeks ago. They go, "Hey, do you know any? We need some good junior CPAs." They may not understand that these people may not just need leads. They may need other things. They may need a new headshot. They may need some marketing materials done. Um, all of those above are things that you can bring in and provide value to them. There's three reasons that people refer business. One is lead versus lead. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. One is because they know that you're going to do a great job. I've got lenders that I don't expect any leads back, but I know if I send them a buyer, they will take great care of that person, and that will reflect positively upon me. And the third and most underutilized is that you're running through and you're really providing some value to them and their sales team or their business. Like it would be great if you could do a Zoom like this for some of these business related people to help them understand that they can go out and build business to business relationships too. There's nothing here that we're going to discuss today that's specific to real estate. What we're really talking about is going out and building these account pyramids, which is for everybody. Now, you leave this appointment with one goal in mind, which is to make them feel great and to have a smile on their face and that that ultimately they'll never forget you. Okay, so let's just pretend now we've gone through this whole system and process. We had secured the appointment. We did the follow-up calls before the appointment. We had our appointment scripted. Now we're either going to walk away going, okay, we're going to do business together. What does that look like? Or maybe we need a follow-up appointment. And that's really on these referral-based meetings. That's my suggestion for you. We're not there to close, guys. We're there to build and foster a long-term relationship. What I will share with you is if you put this plan in motion and over the next 5 years, you said each year I'm going to get 10 more business to business people lined up in my pyramid. At the end of 5 years, at least one of those people one of those people will give you at least one referral a year, and that's 50 transactions. This has incredible power for you. So at post appointment, and this is a secret of mine. I always do it at whatever appointment I'm on. I do a parking lot text or email, and I just say, "Hey, Valerie, thanks so much for having me out. I'm looking forward to doing business with you. I look forward to seeing you next week." Right? You can bring a pre-filled out note card and drop it on the desk, drop it on their porch. Execute promises and build a solution. Chat GPT is so amazing right now because if I'm old school, right? You'll see I've got this notepad here. Wherever I go, I've got a couple of them. If I pulled my bag out, I've got three of them. And so at the meeting, I'm writing everything down. I can come back, scan this in, put it in ChatGPT, and say, build an email based on this meeting, and I can send that to Valerie and say, Valerie, here's what we talked about today. Here's some of the things that I'm thinking about. Here's some of the things that we're going to talk about at our next appointment. It's great for a referral-based meeting, referral-based, but also really solid for a listing appointment, right? So that follow-up email, confirmation on the follow-up appointment. Um, you always get a confirmation from your dentist, right? Or your hairdresser, and that's a level of professionalism. So I suggest you do the same thing. People, you have to prove your level of professionalism today. This is a system to be able to do it. You can begin to create a co-marketing agreement with this specific referral partner based on their needs analysis. Then you come back and you practice your script for the second appointment, and this becomes your dating period. You can send them lunch or send them team lunch, send them a follow-up gift, have them fill out the all about you form. All about you form is who's your alma mater, what kind of food do you like, what's your favorite restaurant, all those types of things, so that you have the ability to, do you like baseball? Hey, let's go to a baseball game. These are all activity-based information, or information that you can base some follow-up activities on. Okay, so
I wanted to really quickly jump in here. Because I
yeah,
thought
please.
I heard you a few slides back. Did you say like interview them? And do you mean like in the appointment ask questions that are like interview style? Or do you mean like literally give them a platform where you can put them in front of your colleagues and you're like giving them exposure?
Yeah, I mean, you're there to it's not necessarily an interview to them, but it is for you, because you're trying to interview them to decide, do I want to do business with this person or not,
Got
right? That's what I mean by interview. Now
got
you
it.
should have done when you're coming up with these types of lists, and when we wrap up, I'm going to share with you what those look like. But my suggestion is, come up with 20 lists of lenders, come up with 20 CPAs and 20 financial planners. And, there's some other folks that we're going to dive into, and go out and try and secure that appointment. But do your research on them, because you don't want a financial planner that's only got 10 clients. That's really not going to scale your business, or a lender who hasn't closed a deal in, 3 or 4 months. You want to interview them to make sure that they're highly professional, um, and top producers. Really, that's who you want to pour into. So that's really what I mean by interviewing.
Sean, if I can just piggyback on that, I think we did an event recently, an in-person event, and we were looking to partner with professionals that we've done business with. And I learned from those conversations that I don't want somebody just to join me and give me money, right? I want somebody who's going to be a real partner. And if we don't have some kind of synchronicity of our values and the way we do business, then we're not going to do business together. So finding that right up front and then building a relationship, I think, is really significant for us.
Absolutely. You're looking for people when you're doing these interviews. You're looking for people who are givers, right?
Yeah.
Not takers. The takers are just going to drain you and never foster relationships. And how they treat you is how they're treating their client base also. So
Yep.
that's really what I mean by interview. Interview them. Do you like them? Is there some rapport that's being built? Do you see yourself being able to refer clients to them? Those are the type of interview questions. But you're just, I mean, you're going to ask them questions that we'll dive into in a moment. But just while we're on the topic, you're going to just ask them, tell me about your business. What are your challenges right now? What do you see happening in the financial services market next year? Those types of things. Where do you need help right now? What does that look like? Where's your business coming from? And what I will share with you is, I tell my crew, unless think about your business right now. Are you anxious about your business? Like, I wake up anxious about my business. Like, what's going to happen today? What kind of uncomfortableness am I going to put myself into? Who am I going to meet today that I don't know? What situations am I going to be put in today where I need my tactical skills to win? And I think that if you're not anxious, you probably plateaued. Okay. So think about your business, and if there's not that anxiety there, because if you implement this, this is going to be a new leg to your business. It's going to be a new pillar that you're going to have to get comfortable with, that you're going to have to, and this is why I say pick those 20 in each category, because you may waste 5 of those appointments just getting comfortable with it, and not really knowing how it's going to script out for you, or not knowing how this movie or play is going to go. So it becomes a point of, just like a listing appointment. When you went on your first listing appointment, was there butterflies in the stomach? Of course there were. Or when you went over this new buyer broker agreement, were you stumbling a little bit maybe and trying to find the right words to say? Of course you probably were. So it's going to be the same thing here, where you're going to have to interview mass amounts of people to get to the 3-4 really solid producing referral partners that you want to do business with. Here's something also that I share in regards to this appointment bridge, which is this. My main goal every day is to fill my calendar, right? And so today is Monday. The goal is always to have face-to-face appointments for next Monday. So if I'm coming in today, we know as real estate agents, our main priority is to schedule appointments with buyers or sellers, because that brings immediate revenue. Would you agree with me? Okay.
Absolutely.
So I come today and I go, let me go through my have not mets. These are people who I don't know, who have reached back out based on the marketing or prospecting that I have, and I need to try and schedule face-to-face appointments with those. Now, if that doesn't happen, then I go into my Met leads. These are people in my lead tracker who I've spoken with in the past, who have said, Sean, I want to buy within 2 months or sell within 6 months. Now, my job is to get them maneuvering along some type of a pipeline. So if I had a seller and on a scale of 1 to 2 or 1 to 10, they're a 2, then I'm going to go, okay, I need to meet with this person, have a strategy session, or go to lunch with them, or have a face-to-face so that we can continue to build rapport, so that in 4 or 5 months, I'm going to secure that deal. Now, let's just say I haven't done either. I come to work, today's Monday, I've got my green time, I'm prospecting, haven't scheduled an appointment with anybody I don't know or on my lead tracker. Okay, that doesn't just mean I give up for next Monday, because the more white time you have in your calendar, the less successful you're going to be. That calendar needs to be full. It keeps you out of drama, keeps you out of trouble, right? So next, I'm going to go to my database. Out of these top 50 people or top 25, who am I going to call and just say, hey, Bob, let's go have lunch. Hey, Bob, let's go golfing. Hey, Bob, let's meet for coffee. Hey, Bob, let's meet for a cocktail. These are people you're trying to get referrals from that know you. And let's just say I've come to work and that hasn't, today and during my prospecting time, that hasn't even happened. Well, now I can leverage this fourth basket, which is B2B. And my job here is I can hop on LinkedIn, I can go on Facebook, I can buy a list of, let's just call it CPAs, I can call lenders, I can do pop buys, I can begin to build this business to business relationship system. So what I'm sharing with you is there's no excuse not to be having face-to-face appointments every day. This will change the scope of your business, because what it will do is it will help you to identify other people's disc profile. It will help you to ask better questions, and it will set habits. We know that our discipline, real estate sales, is based on habits. So if I know every day I'm meeting with 2, 3, 4 people, my skills, I'm going to level up way quicker than my competition. And am I going to fail through some conversations? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, the job is to, much like somebody in karate, it's to level up belt by belt until I get to a black belt, which means I've established mastery. Once you establish mastery, this becomes an art form. Okay. So when you walk away from this today going, I don't have any appointments in my calendar for next Monday for face-to-face, leverage this system of haven't mets, database, and business to business to ensure that your calendar is filled each week. Any questions on that? Okay, so there's really 3. What time do we have a stop at? Noon?
Yep, noon.
Okay, so there's 3 ponds of business to this referral relationship. One is you to a small business owner or professional. One is you to a company. This would be a corporation or HR. Depending upon where you are geographically, this may open up larger corporations for you. You know, people in Denver, they've gone to, you know, what, Southwest, right? They or where you go, I would say pick the largest 20 corporations who have over 100 employees and begin to work with it, begin to try and prospect with the appointment bridge their HR department. It could be relocation companies, it could be banks, it could be, you know, in Sacramento we have obviously it's the capital, we have a heavy um, county and state influence. So it could be, you know, hey, I'm going to target county employees, and then ultimately business to financial institution, which is agent to bank. And the reason that we target banks is because that's the first line of where your clients are going to get financial data and transact. So here's what these are the things that we're going to talk about today. And we've already gone through the 8 touches. So here's why we focus on this business to business. If I said, hey, go out and get 20 referral partners this year, and each of those referral partners have 500 people in their database, which is really what you should be shooting for. These people should have clients of about 250 to 500. That gives you immediate exposure through 20 relationships to reach 10,000 people. That's a pretty dynamic number. So what we're doing here is how do we do this? Make a list of 20 individual professional contacts. This could be lenders, brokers, attorneys, different types of attorneys, probate trust, financial planners, insurance people, sports agents, estate planners. We put in their passion. So you know what are you passionate about? Think about it for a minute, and who could you contact in that industry that has influence? Some of you may be thinking charity. Some of you may be thinking sports. You know, I've gone to our local Sacramento Kings and at one point tried to become their agent partner. The opportunities here are endless, but again, this is about getting outside of, hey, I'm just going to door knock individually and thinking, wow, I can have influence at a much higher level. So this is how you'd start it. Make your list of 20 individual contacts. Now, you're going to call and set an appointment with the script. And let's say it's a lender. It's going to be really simple. It's going to be, hey, Bob, I don't know you. I've seen you on social media. I know we've been friends on LinkedIn for a considerable amount of time, and I'm looking to scale up and scale up my business for the rest of the year and in 2020 and in 2026. And you know, I'm looking for people to partner with who have the same characteristics of business building as you. Could you spend 15 minutes with me over coffee next week to talk about establishing a business relationship in the future? That's the script, right? Just really normal and plain, and see how I teed them up. I've seen you here. I'm happy with what you're doing. And then you're gonna add them to a referral partner database. So just like you would have a database in your CRM, whatever you're using for buyers and sellers, we're gonna add them to the database. And then, just like you have maybe a farm for a geographic farm, I'm going to farm, you know, this downtown neighborhood. You need to put a farm together for these referral partners where you're sending them something, a postcard or your evidence of success every month. And then you just keep adding 20 additions to this database a month. And the goal, 20 per month at 240 months, or excuse me, 20 additions per month for 12 months gets you 240 of these referral partners that you are continuously pinging on, that are seeing your evidence of success. And if each one of those had a database of 500 people, you would scale in the first year by doing this at 120,000 people. That's a lot of people through such a short period of time. People often ask, how many people should I have in my database? And while some people would say, you know, you need to have thousands and 5,000s. Well, those are really contacts that you're just pinging on for marketing purposes. But a database should be your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence are people that you're influential over. And you know, I think and based on my experience, about 500 people is the max that you can have, that you can be in relationship with, that you know, you can comment on, that you can keep some kind of acquaintance with. But through the idea here is that through about 240 people, you get a bang for the buck of about, over 100,000. So our goal then with these people can be to sign co-marketing agreements. They could be for spaces, they could be for postcards, they could be for ad spend, they could be for mixers, they could be for events. Like one of the things that we don't do enough of, that Brent Gove, if you know Brent, is really good at, is scheduling events. Whether it's a Zoom call or an in-person event or a training event, this is a great way to bring in new clients and or recruits. So maybe you with one of your lenders, you have a standing third Thursday of every month, you do a buyer seminar, or the fourth Friday of every month, you do a strategic market update for many of these referral partners, where you provide coffee and you give one of them a platform to be able to speak. And really what this turns into is kind of you're creating your own LaTip or your own networking group, at no cost, while providing max value to the people who are in who are in your sphere. So these are some possible programs, that we've done in the past as far as this is concerned. We've done business planning clinic for all industries. I mean, really, if you think about it, like I can't believe we're halfway through this year, but if you think about it, like, could you plan a business planning clinic for these people that's much different from what we do? It's all the same conversation. It's building a business, it's lead generation, it's saving money, and it's finding leverage, right? That's business in a nutshell. So you could do clinics and mixers, and we've had many of these referral partners co-sponsor events at Il Fornaio, where one pays for appetizers, one pays for drinks, and everybody gets a little 2 or 3 minute spiel about their business, just the elevator speech, and you have a couple cocktails and everybody's happy and you go home. Other programs that you could consider helping them with would be their database, coaching and training their staff, helping them with a new logo or design, doing a lunch and learn for them, creating a book program, commenting on their Facebook, or helping them create a business Facebook page, obviously referring business, helping them build videos, creating a new headshot, helping them with some marketing or postcards, inviting them to your open house. You could buy their staff lunch. You could provide some kind of a service brochure. This is what we have. Looks like this. It's just we call it our service brochure. It's a soft sale for us. And we've added our referral partners to these. So this is one with a divorce attorney, divorce in your home, collaborative divorce, right? And then we've had a lender do it, and then the divorce attorney. So these could be things that you provide, that you leave for them, that's free marketing that they'll hand out to their clientele when people come through. So those are outside of the box, like I'm providing value to these people, items, characteristics that you can do.
Well, I'm curious, just from maybe like people can chime in on the chat or show of hands, because so many realtors out there are already doing this with their clients, right? Like client events. Like who's doing this for their vendor partners? Is anyone doing this already in their market? No.
While we're looking for a response there, I do want to comment that I had a big aha with the event that we recently did. I'm sure Colby can concur. When approaching and talking to some of the people that ended up sponsoring our event, it occurred to me that I'm not looking for them to sponsor me. I'm looking for them to sponsor themselves. I'm looking to collaborate in a venture that will enable us both to grow. And some of those people, their response was more like, oh yeah, how much money do you need for the event? And I kind of said, no, I don't need the money. I can pay for it myself. I want to collaborate and add value to you. So it was almost like our event added value to them, because we had 150 agents in the room. How many attorneys do you know that want that, right? How many lenders that want that? So just
Absolutely.
even building the event itself was a big aha for us.
Two things that I'll say about that. Sometimes some of you may be a little apprehensive about scheduling an event, and you may only get a 20% turnout, but you're inviting 500 people. So, whether there's a big turnout or not, you're still getting the ping in their mind, and they're going, oh, they get the dopamine. Oh, I got invited to this event. So don't worry about the turnout. Worry about the marketing. You can use that on Facebook. You can put it on LinkedIn. You can use it for phone calls just to connect. Hey, I just want to make sure you're coming. Oh, I can't make it. Okay, well, great. We'll miss you. That's one thing. The second thing is in regards to what you just said, once you create this your top 25 or your top 50 database, those should be people that you're inviting to at least quarterly mixers who you're also introducing some of these referral partners to. And also your referral partners should be inviting them. Like that should be a coach up moment for your referral partners. Hey, Bob, the financial planner, invite your 50 top clients and I'll invite my 50 top clients. And now we're co-marketing to them and they know that I'm their preferred realtor or broker of choice. They know you're my preferred financial planner of choice. And when you get really good at this, you can also do this very geographically. We have a large space here in Northern California. We cover a large area. And so financial planner I have in El Dorado Hills is different than the financial planner you got in the Bay Area. And so you can leverage those different geographic locations and office space to your advantage as well.
Excellent point.
Okay. So now we move into business or corporations. So the idea here is that we're accessing a large number of employees, and I would suggest if you're starting here, it's got to be a minimum of 100. And so you could just go to chat and go, hey, in Sacramento, what are the top 50 companies with over 100 employees? That can start your list of people that you're prospecting. But these companies should give you at least 5 units per year. What would be a business HR? It could be a hospital. Like go to your local hospital, talk to their HR. They have doctors moving in and out all the time. That would be one example. But what we're doing here is we're coming from contribution and we're delivering help. How are we going to help these type of people? Well, we established this employer healthcare program, which is like, hey, we're going to with a lender, right? You'll see lender, LRG lending, which is like, hey, we'll give you a break on your appraisal, and if we'll give you a credit of 0.5% towards closing costs. And here's what we're going to provide for you: relocation packets, market updates, those types of things. I'm not gonna dive into it, but there's a whole list of items that we would provide for their business. So make a list of these top 5 companies and go and do pop buys with them. If you're not a caller, stop by. If you are, call the HR. If you want to send an email, call them and ask them. Share with them that you've got something of benefit to their employees, especially relocation folks. But these could be, many of you know REO, but banks, sports teams, venture capitalists, law firms, technology companies, hospitals, colleges, union, military, retail, shipping, headhunters. All of those avenues are available for you when trying to meet the HR person. And what you wanted to do, if I got a hold of an HR person at the hospital, what I would want to do is come and interview them. What makes more sense to you? How do you make more money? Well, hey, there's a recruiting bonus if I recruit anybody from Boston. Great. Next time you have somebody, would you do me a favor? Like, and they're in town, I would be happy to take them around and show them hospitals and schools and take them for a tour of the city and take them out for lunch. And guess what? During that conversation, during our time together, I'm going to find out what they want from you. And do they need more money? Do they need a relocation bonus? What is it that they need so that I can help you do your job? Okay. There's a bit of a science to it, right? And so again, what's the system look like? Well, call to the business and set an appointment, add them to your database. What do they need? How are they going to advance? What's going to save the company time and money? What's going to be less stressful for them? HR people, what they're worried about is high turnover, right? Because now they have to spend more money training somebody else who just left the company. Provide services to their employees, maybe a lunch and learn. Hey, do you mind if I bring the doctors in and we bring a lender in and share with them what doctor programs that we have that the lender has? Can we do a lunch and learn? Can we bring in some food? But again, you're there to solve a problem and you're there to survey them and you're there to recruit them as part of a collaborative team for you. And then ultimately, business to financial institution. And this is where your local people go for consumer advice. If I look at the local Wells Fargo here, right down the road, who's there? I've got tellers, I've got managers, I've got assistant managers, I've got financial services people in there, and I've got lenders in there. It's a ripe environment to go door knocking and say, hey, can I drop off some of my brochures? Hey, can I meet with the lender? Hey, can I meet with the financial planner? And something that we did was called, we haven't done it in a long time, but Operation Donut Drop, where we picked 20 local banks right around our office. And on the third Friday of every month, we drop by donuts with cards. And it's just a little ping in their mind. Oh, I'm expecting donuts on Friday. Here's a stack of cards. I can't tell you how many leads we got from doing just that. But not only are you marketing to their consumers, but really you're also marketing to them. I mean, tellers buy properties, managers buy properties. The goal is to again establish this relationship and get street credibility and some face time with them. But
Hey, I'm sorry, Sean, I just wanted to throw something in there. We had the opportunity to do something with hotels in the area, where we actually did lunch and learns. And what was cool about it was the hotel provides a lunch because they do that anyway, like they're in the food service industry. So we didn't have to spend any money.
beautiful.
And we spoke to the staff, and it was so well received.
Yeah.
So definitely something I want to revisit. So people might
Yeah.
want to think about that.
I mean, the idea here is that we get so, and this is why I go back to the calendar and white time. We get so bogged down, I think, in putting fires out that unless you plan this and it's routine, and something that you stay on top of. I mean, you could just do this as a main, all these things that I'm talking about, as your main source of lead generation, and you would kill it. It's the fires that get in our way. So you have to be adamant about planning and the face-to-face appointments and the building of relationships. Because I know this right now. If you're struggling in business and you called 30 lenders today in your local town between brokers and big box banks, and you met with them and you said, listen, I see what you're doing online. I see your Facebook post. I really respect you. Hey, who do you have in your pipeline right now that's approved, that you would consider giving me a chance of meeting with them and giving them a kick-ass educational event at a buyer broker meeting, and who I could get in the car and potentially close for you? Because Mr. Lender, I know that those people aren't doing a darn bit of good just sitting as pre-approvals in your pipeline. And if you did that to 30 people today, there's a very likely chance that you'd get at least 15 leads, at a 50% closing rate. So, it's all about the connections with these people who are influential, who have big pipelines. You want somebody who has a big pipeline? Go to Wells Fargo right now and ask that lender sitting in the bank, who do you have that's in your pipeline that's ready to rock? And will you give me a chance? Okay. So this would be the financial institution that your banks, but make a list of 20 local financial institution, come back, put those in the database. So now we're creating this business to business database that's hashtag, that if I said, hey, email all of the managers and financial planners and lenders at my 20 banks, I could go in there very easily and send out a text or an email to those people and scale it. Okay. So that's business to financial institution. Now, you've made the list, you pop by with a tasty gift, donuts, bagels, scones, whatever. You can get a personalized marketing box. We got a white donut box and slapped a label on it with our stuff. Map out your route and just knock it out. Like, that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to drop 20 donut boxes off. Are you going to be anxious to do that, to go in because you don't know what to say? You are. That's great. Anxiety is good. Come back, add them to the database, find out what they need, find out what their leadership looks like. I only got 4 minutes left. So, and I think the good news is, I think this is the last slide. So how do you get started in this? Identify 500 business professionals that you want to form monthly. Identify 20 that you want to immediately call and try and schedule face-to-face appointments with. Identify the 5 corporations or companies in your market that you want to understand who the HR person is, and call them to schedule an appointment. Identify these banks in your town. Create, based on this system, your touch program, or your, what I would call your appointment bridge. Add these all to your database and begin your contribution referral partner program. This is like what I was saying. Do I help with the database? Do I have a book program? Can we do lunch and learns? And identify a monthly goal of leads to deliver to your business to business referral partners. Okay. So that is, I'm going to stop the share. That is the Reader's Digest version. You can imagine this is like a very long class, longer class than what I've done over the past hour. But I think you get a feel or a touch for what this could look like for you and how it could change your business. And again, just circling back around to what we started off by saying is this is really a way to revolutionize your business, to have a level of consistency. These referral partners will call you regardless of what type of market it is. If if you fall into a foreclosure or short sale market, you'll have those relationships. And when you fall into a super sellers market, the sellers will be calling you, and likewise for a buyer's market. So um, really hope that you guys got something out of this, and I'd love to hear a couple of ahas.
I'm hoping somebody jumps in here, but I do want to say that there's something in the chat that does say that this is amazing and that they're going to have to listen to the recording two more times to get it all. So that sound, I think that was from Anne. I don't know if she's still here, but
I want to be brave and chime in and say what they're gonna
he's going to jump in.
Get that anxiety going.
Herb, did you have something?
Yes, I did. I got to tell you, a long time ago when I started my career, I started with a mortgage broker. And we had a guy come in and coach us on all of this, referral partner kind of business. And I got to tell you, it's like when I saw that you guys were talking about this today, it's like I had to jump on this thing because seriously, you could build a business. I'm just thinking to myself, I could build a business and even do more business with less effort, just doing this and forget all those online leads and all that kind of stuff and just do this. I mean, seriously, I think, thank you for sharing, Sean.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
One other person want to chime in before we have to wrap up?
I'll just say I really appreciated being with you all today, and thanks for the opportunity. Nice to make everyone's acquaintance. And I'm sure you can look me up online. Please Facebook me. I would love to become Facebook friends with you. And if you need absolutely anything, I'll share with you. My cell phone number is 916-847-2175.
Awesome. Yeah, I really appreciate you sharing that. Someone did ask if you could share the slides. I don't know if that's something you're comfortable with. We do typically post these on YouTube, so it will also be on
Yeah,
YouTube.
that's fine. I'll send them to you, and then you can disseminate them out.
Okay. So Jorge, just reach out to me. Here, I'll drop my number in the chat and I can get those over to you. And then really quickly, because this is the last call of our Q2 masterminds, which means that tomorrow we announce our entire Q3 lineup. I dropped the link in the chat for you guys to RSVP to all of them. Otherwise, as they roll out, you can RSVP individually, but we've got some really awesome stuff coming up. If anyone was at our in-person mastermind, Stacy's coming back to speak at more length about niching down to the 55 plus market, which is where most listings are these days. We're going to be talking about working with unqualified buyers, how to build systems in your business, door knocking from someone who did this for 16 years. We're actually going to do role playing. And I don't know if anyone knows Paul Frank. Sean, I know you know Paul Frank, but he's awesome. And you definitely don't want to miss that commercial real estate call. And yeah, so it's going to be really fun and we're excited for this coming quarter.
Love it.
Yeah, we'll say for those of you who think that you don't want to door knock, the door knocking segment is not really about door knocking. He means it, well, he did it literally, but he also means it figuratively. Sean, I want to say thank you so much. This was so valuable. I took a ton of notes, and I hope everybody else thought so too.
Thanks,
Thank you so much.
everybody.
Great day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.